Welcome everyone. We are your hosts Yasha,
And then more.
and the show is called Counting Thoughts. Let me introduce you to the show for those who don't know what we are about. You come to this podcast to count all your thoughts, irrespective if they are serious or random, big or small. Thoughts that you might have thought about or you might think about after listening or watching the show. All this to bring change one thought at a time. To explain the night suits, I will come back, but to explain the night suits, trust me when I say that this is in touch with the theme. So
Because for a change, we are dressed according to theme.
we are going to. What is the theme? This
So
is
today we will be discussing. Before that, I'm going to give you a hint. So your hint is that there are individuals who wake up at different times. Someone is someone who wakes up early, and the ones who stay awake till late night. So we are talking about morning persons and night persons and their chronotypes.
okay. So I'm a morning person, and there's a ring in my ear, but I'm a morning person, and Anmol is a night person, and I'm thinking that my ear is ringing because Anmol is abusing me internally, but I will ignore that. Myths. Yeah, I see you.
But in all honesty, this was supposed to be a discussion that was eventually going to be
It was supposed to be an honest,
discussion
innocent
about pros
discussion.
and cons about waking up early and waking up night, because this debate is ongoing between me and Yasha. So we thought, let's do this and,
And
see where
pull
we
you
go
guys
from
in.
this. And pull you guys in this. So let's see where we go from here. But while researching, we realized that this is beyond those pros and cons, because how this Google research that I did as per usual.
Made everything technical.
So it made everything technical. We became more aware about the term chronotype and also the reason behind it and our sleep schedules.
Mm-hmm. We did.
So before we begin the research and we go technical about, I want to make this a case for us night owls
Okay.
that mainly we are not appreciated enough.
ठीक है enlighten us. सुन रहे हैं हम.
Okay, so I feel that the night person is kind of more productive, and because the entire world is in the rest phase, there's no one to disturb, no calls to take, there is nowhere else to go. You can fully concentrate on your work because
I don't think night people are productive people. I think they are creative people.
according to that, if you hold that thought, according to that, you are a creative person, then you should be a night owl according to your profession, if we are talking about that.
It's not, my profession is something more, matlab abhi bhi it is more of a passion and less of a profession. And as far as creativity goes, I think I am that individual who's trying to take up the challenge to tame the flow of my creative juices. Is that a lot? No. So I'm not saying that I'm trying to tame creativity, because I was told once that what use is creativity if it is tamed. So I'm not trying to tame creativity. I am trying to
I'm going to give you points for that.
okay. So I think I feel that creativity is something that I should be able to control. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए that, say suppose I have to write and I cannot write just because I am stuck in a certain hour of the day. And ऐसा हो सकता है there are creative peaks wherein I don't even have to put in efforts and the words come naturally to me. But I also feel that creativity, अगर मेरा क्रिएटिव पीक या वो दैट क्रिएटिव आवर इज़ नॉट गोइंग ऑन, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि मेंटल ब्लॉक एट क्रिएटिविटी हो जाए. सो दिस इज़ माई
take on this,
and which is why I try to plus I don't have the luxury to not my living situation does not allow me to have the luxury of not having a schedule or not sticking to the schedule or not be disciplined enough to have a schedule. So I am very particular about it, and this is one thing that I do very religiously, like
I know. I know.
plus मुझे
continue.
मुझे ऐसा भी लगता है that creative people are generally night people, because there are night moments wherein those creative juices just flow and everything just comes, and
But you're sleeping.
But I am sleeping, but then ऐसा होता है, so it does happen to me, ऐसे सोते सोते एकदम जाग खुलेगा, I'm like, oh, that thought, and then I will grab a notebook and try to write everything down. Sometimes in the morning it makes no sense, but sometimes if you try to tweak it a little, it does make sense. There is a very famous quote by, I forget who, I'm sorry, which says that write drunk but edit sober. So I think I stick with I stick with that. So even if I'm writing in wherein I'm half asleep, I'm like, okay, fine, let it just go. But then when I get up, I think with like an editor's mind, okay, this is useful, this is useless, this thought can be kept, this sometimes ऐसा भी होता है.
You bifurcate it on basis.
Yes. So I think the editing process is not creative at all. It is something very, very technical and very black and white, and it does not let you stick to the grays. Writing is grays.
Coming back to the topic, me making a case for night owls. Before we begin, and as per usual, I did the Google research. There were a few points that I wanted to bring to notice for all of us, for Yasha and all our listeners and our stars.
Mainly me.
Mainly Yasha. And okay, so basically I wrote these down, and to check facts, basically I went for the Google research, and I just kept the ones that did not overlap.
That did overlap,
and मेरा thought process, Yasha का thought process, and
सब लोग का thought process,
a general perspective that I could get on the internet. So I had already written down that night owls have more time for their hobbies. Okay, you are capable of building international networks because time zone difference. You can get more done because there are not going to be any meetings or phone calls that you must deal with. And then you can talk to your friends who are living internationally, and the long distance
does not
comparatively wouldn't hamper your relationships.
I will give you points for not taking calls, because the amount of calls you get in the day, madam credit card, madam bill, madam this, madam donation, madam,
are you looking for this,
are you looking for that? So I think that I'll give you, that's a really big time waste. I find meetings a time waste also, so but I think I will give you points just for that. Okay, phone calls नहीं attend करने पड़ते, so you have more time.
But meetings are if you are not meeting, there's no productivity. Topic for another day. What I want to know right now is that since you're a morning person, is there a particular, let's say, benefit, or what do you think is a pro of being a morning person for you in general? And
I feel I've always
make your case.
I've always been a morning person, so even if I would wake up late, if you leave me and I have nothing to do, even then I would wake up at 6:37, and if I'm sick or I slept late the previous night or something like that, if it's an off day, if I'm feeling lazy, 9 a.m. is the maximum I would stay asleep for, because 9 baje उठ के भी, like even if I get up at 9 a.m. I feel I wasted half of the day. The day is gone. And if I wake up like you, which is 12 noon, people who don't know, I will feel that आधा दिन खत्म हो गया, अब there is nothing I can do. I will feel anxiety, and
Yasha has eaten her head to wake up early than the
I am not asking you to wake up at 5. I am not asking you to do that at all. It will be unfair for me to ask somebody who's waking up at 11, 12, जैसे मैं जैसे, to wake up at 5. It is wrong. to say the least. But
your productivity ends at 9-10 p.m. My productivity starts
when the half of the team has logged off, when there is nobody to check on what you're doing, when there, imagine now guys, imagine there is a client meeting, or there is a client or a partner who lives 3 घंटा पीछे.
Korean area, Japanese areas, Singapore area, Australian areas like the European area or the American areas. Those timelines align with you.
But then if you have so the other business, the other
work that we
other work we're doing requires you to wake up earlier, because the time zone has to align with Singapore people, Chinese
with
people,
other partners.
And imagine you waking up at 12 where it is 3:30 for them, and by the time you freshen up and come in that work zone, in India it is lunchtime, which is 2. For them it is about, they're about to log off work. So meetings are going to be a pain, and they are a pain, because then Anmol has to wake up, she's all groggy,
Still trying to get a hold of me.
And then there's a Zoom call and she's not going to put on her camera, because she's still wearing her night suit, and it's not going to look presentable. It's a mess, which is why I keep telling you, habituate yourself to wake up a little early, which is 8 a.m.
But why do you not consider my chronotype? Now I have scientific research to back myself up.
Don't go there.
But I will, and my stars are going to help me out in this. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to give you the Google definition of chronotype before we begin with our bladder. Okay.
Whatever.
So according to my research, Google definition of chronotype, it is the natural inclination of your body to sleep at a certain time, or what most people understand as being an early bird versus a night owl. In addition to regulating sleep and wake up times, chronotype has an influence on appetite, exercise, and core body temperature. It is responsible for the fact that you feel more alert at certain periods of the day and sleepier at others. Sleep chronotype is closely related to the circadian rhythm, which controls the day-to-day sleep-wake cycle and release melatonin in response of environmental cues such as light and temperature.
But I'm not asking you to change your chronotype, I'm asking you to control your circadian rhythm, which is you trying to wake up by the clock. Like जब सुबह हो रही है, normal दुनिया की तरह सुबह उठ जाओ.
But like a normal night owl will be able to wake up at 7 a.m. let's say with Yasha wants 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. But eventually their brain or their body will start functioning at a later time, because that is a say. For example, like for an early bird, by the time it's afternoon, you would want to sleep, है ना?
No.
थोड़ा sleepy तो?
No.
थोड़ा सा भी sleepy नहीं?
No.
Bird productivity is 100% सुबह 6:30 से by 12 noon.
5 बजे से वैसे तो.
सुबह 5 बजे से by 12 noon. थोड़ा सा भी sleepy, tired नहीं.
Because ऐसा नहीं है that I wake up at 5 and I start working. I wake up at 5 because I want some alone time and I want some time to myself. Even if that alone time, sometimes I wake up and I am trying to read something. Sometimes I wake up, I will just watch birds fly. I have woken up and just tried to have alone time with the sunrise. I have also had morning.
Your me time.
I've had mornings where I'm just doing YouTube. As random or as productive as I want to be, but that time is my time.
My me time is watching Attack on Titans and enemies and how it
That can happen any time of the day.
I do that at night when there's no one to disturb me at, let's say, 12:31 a.m.
So technically you claim that you are working, but you are not working.
I'm working till 12:31 a.m. Post 1 a.m. my personal time starts. Then I sleep, then I wake up.
It's very difficult to get a hold of you. 1, 2. the point here is that there are benefits for you to, because you googled this, there are benefits. Google this also. There are going to be benefits for you and your metabolic cycles if you start waking up as per the clock, because there are studies that say that your body has seen a lot of development in terms of there were no cars, but now there are planes, and we're trying to build a colony on Mars. There has been a lot of industrial development, right? But then the time in which the development has happened, your brain hasn't had the time to adapt to it. बहुत कम time में बहुत development हो गया है, right? So your brain still functions according to the sun. I am not saying that wake up at 5. I'm just saying adjust your circadian rhythm and train it to your benefit.
But first, we need to determine how the chronotype works and what we can do about it. Right. Coming back to my research. Only talking about So, chronotype can vary from person to person depending upon genetics, age, and other factors. Some scientists believe that chronotype may differ according to the geographical location as well, due to the changes in daylight hours and everything. To figure out your chronotype, think about what time you would prefer to wake up on a day that you are completely free to plan with no work or any sort of other requirements and commitments.
6:30.
What time? 6:30.
Okay, but then what you can do is, if you don't know your chronotype, so sad thing, I did the chronotype quiz, which will link somewhere down. She knows her chronotype because apparently she got her results. I did not get my results, so I am still guessing. So this is going to be sorry. This is going
But
to be.
But anyway, I don't think you need for Yasha specifically, I don't think she needs to take the test, because I know she's an early riser. She's the earliest riser I know, apart from one of my siblings. But yeah, for me, I think it was a bit complicated. I'm still not satisfied with my test result, but that's a discussion for later. Right now, we are going to talk about the quizzes that Yasha mentioned, which is made by Dr. Michelle Brewers, who describes 4 kinds of chronotypes based on sleep-wake patterns seen in animals.
Pehla wala
Yasha reading my research.
Is the lion. The lion chronotype stands in for the early bird. These individuals wake up early and are most productive in the morning, but may have more trouble following a social schedule in the evening. They generally, on average, they would go to bed at 10 p.m., wake up at 6 a.m. They are most productive from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Their traits are that they are natural leaders, charismatic, and early risers. Productivity tip: if you are that individual, if you think that if you align with any of these, you should know when to stop and take time for yourself at the end of the day or early in the morning, whenever you feel like. So yeah, do that.
Yeah, and the next chronotype is bear,
which is her result, which she does not agree with.
Exactly.
But we'll find out.
Yeah. So the bear chronotype makes up about 55% of the entire population. People
Half
with
the
this
population.
intermediate, more than half the population. So people with this intermediate chronotype tend to follow the sun. They do well with traditional office hours, but also have no problem maintaining a social life in the evenings. They usually go to bed by 11 p.m. and wake up by 7 a.m. Most productive hours are from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and their traits would include being an extrovert, mellow flow of energy all day, and happy-go-lucky. And
which
productive.
you are.
Which I am, but somehow it's correct. If I'm working out, then this is actually. If I'm exercising and following my actual schedule, then this is true. If I'm going to the gym at 7, then I'm waking
up
at 7, reaching the gym at 7:30, sleeping at 11. Then in that particular scenario, it's true. But COVID screwed my entire sleep cycle, so that happened. And coming back to the topic, so more productive tip would be schedule tips in the morning and finish them in the morning.
ये थोड़ा ऑफ टॉपिक है because you mentioned COVID. I realized that I needed to stick to a schedule when COVID hit. Because when COVID hit, nobody knew what to, because ऐसा होता है generally there is somebody at your house, you know, who have to go punch in. They have like an office hour situation, right? There are kids in the family who need to go to school, so everybody has a go place, right? Office hai, nahi to school hai,
A schedule basically.
हाँ, so they are tied to a schedule. COVID, you know, unraveled that schedule for everybody. There were children waking up at 1 p.m. and like mothers waking up, like usually the mothers that wake up at 6, they're waking up at 9. There is no,
I had no sleep cycle. Anytime I'm waking up, anytime I'm sleeping.
And then what happened was, I started when COVID hit, I because nobody was waking up, and I had you know, no, like people would say that what would you do, like even if you wake up, what would you do? करोगे क्या है ना, so सोते रहते हैं type. People will keep sleeping and they will wake up at 8 a.m.
I thought Yasha will say 4 p.m. She's like 8 a.m. and I'm like
Then 8, and that too because you know breakfast, lunch और dinner 3 meals तो करने हैं ना आपको.
Yeah.
So तो उस हिसाब से, so that you're waking up and there were no maids, so like generally if there is nothing, that there is a maid schedule at least, right? कि ओहो काम वाली आ जाएगी, उससे पहले जितना गंद डालना है गंद डाल लो, then वो सफाई करके चल जाएगी, उसके बाद साफ रखना है घर, right? There was nothing of that sort, and I haven't felt this disoriented my entire life when the lockdown.
And in the entire world.
And this was happening for everybody. ऐसा नहीं that you can go and talk to somebody. Yeah, you can have somebody as your focal point and then refocus yourself. Nothing of that sort was happening. That 2 months was so distorted. Like I did everything, like from you know, embroidery to reading to Netflix,
all the possible hobbies,
everything that I am capable of doing, every skill that I have, I try to brush it off. But then I realized somewhere in April end or May that I cannot function because I used to feel very disoriented. Then I signed up Skillshare, not sponsoring us, but I shout out to Skillshare,
yeah.
Sponsor us. But I signed up for a class, then I scheduled that class at like somewhere in the morning. Then I started waking up and you know, started like something like फिर मुझे ऐसा होता था that now I have to wake up because I have a class in the morning.
You were able to get a hold of yourself and put your schedule together.
So for me, having a footing as to where my day is going is important, and there I cannot have a day where I sleep without knowing what to do in the morning. And some people say that I'm very uptight. And
I think you're very organized about.
I am organized, but then people look at it as not having an easy flow, and I don't know how many taunts and tantrums I live on I have to live saying that I don't have a Sunday. And I used to feel bad initially, but now I am that individual who has said that I don't have time. I am busy 365 days. But if you need to spend time with me, you tell me that you need to spend time with me. I will make time for you. So I am that individual who will make time.
See, that is now, while you are describing the entire situation and the entire world faced difficulties, I myself, I think I would actually rather appreciate it because I was not able to even get on a schedule. I was completely disorganized. I used to wake up anytime, sleep anytime, doing anything anytime. There was no set schedule, and I would
मोटे कितने हो गए लोग उस time पे?
I am that kind. Like I did gain a lot of weight.
Because
there was
you
no
were
schedule.
Sleeping, you were eating, you were not even bathing.
Making golgappas
at home.
Things like, so I think everyone faced different different kind of situations
and
when-
different kind of issues, and people
and
dealt
issues.
dealt
And
with
the
them
judging
different.
is constant. This is off topic, but the judging is constant, and at the end, what you need to realize is it's all a matter of choice, and you as an individual cannot question, and you can always give advice and suggestions. You cannot question their choices because they know what is best for
them. And I hats off to my dad. I was speaking with my dad was stuck, so my mom was in like
Another city,
and dad was here, and dad was stuck, so dad also felt very disoriented and
because everyone people were away from their family, people were traveling, it was
and
very,
he was worried because mom was alone, and I mean everybody was all over the place, right?
Yeah.
And my grandfather sort of passed away at that point of time, so it was difficult for him. But he told me that like मैं तो कुछ नहीं करता हूँ, योगा करता हूँ सुबह उठ के. And I'm like, पापा क्या योगा करते होगे ना आप, like 60 साल की उम्र.
he was
Then he's like,
मैं sleep cycle and
He-
sleep schedule.
He says that if I don't sleep with the thought कि सुबह उठ के प्राणायाम करना है, जिसमें he does it all wrong. I am telling you, he does it all wrong. But hats off to him. He would wake up.
that is
Sit
what-
on that mat. And then while this was happening, I read this book, Atomic Habits by James Clear, if I am not wrong. He states the importance of showing up. So I realized what my father was doing was showing up. He would spread the yoga mat on the floor, switch on news or something, anything, and sit on that goddamn mat. Do nothing, not a thing, but he would sit on that mat. Just the thought of him sitting on that mat programmed his brain within 15 days that I have to get up, sit on that mat, do yoga.
See, because this is one discipline, but secondly, what he was practically trying to do now, is adjust his sleep cycle in a way that he would want.
To get up.
Right. So he did that. Coming back to the topic, now his chronotype, like
Me could be an early riser. He could.
could be lion, could be bear, or could be the other two that we are going
To discuss.
Get back to.
The third chronotype,
Yeah.
is wolf. The wolf chronotype is equivalent to the classic night owl, and it is believed to make up approximately 15% of the population. 55 ne 15 kitna? 15 and 55 is 60, 70.
70%.
Oh my god, did I take that long to...
It's okay.
Okay. So they go to bed at 12 a.m., wake up at 7:30 a.m., most productive from 5 p.m. to 12 a.m. This is you?
I don't know. I think sometimes.
Their traits are introspective, highly creative, and introverted. You're not introverted.
Hello.
You're not
Hello. That
introverted.
is the last thing if anyone tells me
The
that.
productivity tip is go and work at home when you are most productive. Okay.
Okay. And let's get to the next one, which is dolphin, which I feel is mine. But let's go, because technically the researcher who did this research
Says.
on chronotypes and everything, he says that every 90 days you can change your chronotype.
ये तुम्हारे रिजल्ट में बताया ना उसने.
In my result, they told this, so I was like, okay, so that's fine. And he said that if you think you're not a lion or a wolf or a bear, then most likely you're a dolphin.
Okay.
Now getting back to the dolphin chronotype, which is based on the ability of real dolphins to stay alert even while sleeping. Human dolphins are best described as insomniacs.
What is a light sleeper?
Light sleeper,
As in, like, could be, say, suppose somebody walks into
Even
the... So even the slightest noise would wake me up. I am such a big advocate of, pitch dark rooms for sleeping. I cannot sleep when...
your sleep cycle completely aligns with my brother's sleep cycle.
My sleeping habits as well.
Yeah, sleeping habits, sleeping cycle.
Okay. Shout out to him. Pinku. Shout out to Pinku.
Yeah.
So I think what I feel is that there should not be, so sheer curtains, people sleep उसमें.
People like me, because I don't care about light. आप मेरे सर पे ढोल बजा लो. Till the time someone is not touching me and telling me, and won't wake up.
Sometimes you don't even wake up. Then I will wake up. Say suppose you are sleeping beside me and you get up to pee. I will, even if I don't open my eyes and I'm in deep sleep, I will get to know that okay, this person got up. Say, so I don't have. So this is something weird. So there are people in my family who snore. I can sleep with them.
Yeah.
Like ऐसा नहीं, मुझे दिक्कत नहीं होती that you are snoring and I can. Somehow my brain thinks that is normal and natural. So that will not bother me. But what does bother me is, like, you know, your phone starts ringing. Sometimes there are people who text you in the night, like I say WhatsApp कर रहे हैं, right? I will wake up with that notification also. So I don't know which category. Nobody spoke about that, right?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I want to find out.
We'll write a feedback to the quiz thing.
You do that. You got a report, you do that.
So usually the dolphins, they go to bed around 12:30 a.m. and wake up at 6:30 a.m. And most productive hours are from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. And traits are they're highly intelligent, scattered brained you are. Gets bursts of creativity. And productive tip for people like these is, if they need to take breaks throughout the day to take rest.
These also you are. She takes naps, guys. She's like,
I take short naps, 10-minute nap, and I am little like yes. I'm like, okay, between the takes, I'm like, rest time, just give me 10 minutes, and I'm like,
She legit takes naps.
Yasha will look at me.
Dadi Amma.
She will look at me like, she will like, how are you able to do this?
I can do 20-minute naps.
I sleep with my lens on, which is not.
I can't even do that.
I'm not advocate for that, but I am that kind of sleeper. I'll sleep, doze off, anywhere. Okay. But
then discussing all this, we cannot leave you at this because we have to tell you why chronotypes are important. So the lesson goes on that multiple studies have found associations between chronotypes, personality, health, and quality of life. See? Personality traits associated with morningness include consciousness and agreeableness, or eveningness के साथ they relate neuroticism and openness. Studies have found conflicting evidence of whether extraversion is a representation of morning or evening types. So we don't know that.
Yes, according to the research, morning people tend to perform better in school.
Nah.
While evening types may have more of an aptitude of creative thinking. This is according to the research, but Yasha doesn't agree.
क्योंकि मतलब I was not that ऐसे intelligent first आ रहे हैं बच्चे.
It says perform better. Difference
from their perform better.
Maybe attentiveness.
I don't know. If my history teacher sees this, I don't think she would agree.
Performing better and intelligent, two different things, two different alphabets.
I was streets. It's okay. Okay. So I think.
So evening people tend to be more flexible with their sleep schedule and be less, physically active and sleep less on weekdays, and then making up for the lost time on the weekend, which is not healthy. I agree. Yasha giving me the look. Okay. So these unhealthy habits lead to an increased stress response, higher
cortisol levels, thanks Yasha,
and higher resting heart rate, which are risk factors for sleep apnea, obesity, type 2 diabetes, mental disorders, and metabolic syndrome. And Yasha is looking at me like,
Pata hai, I told you.
Yes.
So eveningness is also linked to impulsive anger, depression, and anxiety, as well as a host of negative habits, including risk-taking, skipping breakfast, and eating more in the evening, using more electronic media, and use of substances such as tobacco, alcohol, or caffeine. Caffeine तो मैं भी abuse कर रही हूँ, मुझे लग रहा है. Because I think
she is 100% abusing. Yasha wants. She's looking at me like after having me.
Black coffee.
Black coffee. Black coffee.
I am. So yeah.
So many of these adverse outcomes are also linked to specifically to a mismatch between chronotype and work schedule. Regardless of whether the person is an early bird or a night owl, this reinforces the idea that the easiest way to perform work healthier may be by simply trying to match the shifts of the person's chronotype. Unfortunately,
That is not
this
possible.
is not always possible, and it may severely limit
Impossible.
career choice. Impossible. Yasha.
Because if there is a superlative of impossible, that is impossible. I came up with that. For those who must adhere to a routine that does not match their chronotypes, #Anmol, melatonin supplements, light therapy, or careful attention to sleep hygiene habits may help shift circadian rhythms to reduce insomnia and the effects of social jet lag. However, most people find that this is difficult to do, which you keep advocating that it is difficult for you to
It's
do.
difficult, it's not impossible, that I'm aware of.
तो फिर पता नहीं why she's not doing it.
I am productive irrespective.
But I want you to be productive with the team.
She wants me to be productive with her.
With
She
me.
misses me so much that when I'm sleeping, she's like, Anmol.
काम कौन करेगा?
जब मैं सो रही हूँ तब तुम जो मर्जी करो, लेकिन जब मैं उठ रही हूँ तो तुम उठी होनी चाहिए.
हाँ. So yeah. So anyways, you guys can take the quiz, find out which
Is your chronotype, because Yasha has lost her results.
I don't know where they.
But without for a vouch, like give me a stamp paper. Without checking her result, I can tell she's a lion. In accordance to her sleep cycle, because she's an early riser and she likes to spend time with herself in the morning, which is completely
Okay.
And I think the result says I'm a bear.
She's a khichdi.
Result says I'm a bear. Yasha thinks I'm a wolf. Sometimes I'm a dolphin. So I think I'll take the test again in 90 days.
And then find out.
And then see if there are any changes.
Alright guys, I think that we'll wrap it up here. We can blabber on forever. So
And one last thing, throwback episode 1, Yasha and me wearing cord sets. I did it. I made you wear cord sets.
this is a night suit.
It's a cord set. I did it.
Anmol. Okay. So
that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching and thank you so much for listening. Please send your feedback to us. We would love to hear that.
On
Comment
Counting
with your
Thoughtz.
suggestions. And keep listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube.
You can write to us at countingthoughts@gmail.com. We are there on Telegram as well. You can join the group and join the fun. You can reach out to us individually as well on our socials. So
And for this particular episode, I need your suggestions. I need all the night owls.
all right.
Thank you so much. Bye.
All right. Bye.